Section 73 of Up One Pair of Stairs of My Bookhouse. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Up One Pair of Stairs of My Bookhouse. Edited by Olive Beaupre Miller. Hassan the Arab and his horse. Hassan the Arab went dashing along on his splendid white horse Abdallah, beneath the tall date palm trees, between the tents of the Arab camp, and up to his very own door. "Zuleika, Zuleika!" he called to his wife. Zuleika, in a long blue robe, with strings of glass beads about her neck, was grinding corn between two stones, but she rose at once when Hassan called. "Zuleika," he said, "I am off with a party for a journey across the desert. It may be weeks before I come back. Call the children to bid me goodbye." Zuleika turned without a word to obey him, but under her blue robe her heart beat fast. Hassan was going out into the desert, and there on those lonely yellow sands that stretched away for miles and miles were many fierce bands of Turks. The Turks were enemies of the Arabs, and if Hassan were to meet them, there would be a struggle, Zuleika knew. But no good Arab wife spoke of such things. It was her husband's business to go, and she called the children obediently. Ali and his little sister Fatima had been playing among the camels, climbing on their backs, tumbling over and about them. "Your father is off on a journey across the desert," said Zuleika, as they came in answer to her call. "Goodbye, our father," cried the children. "Goodbye, Abdallah." They hung about their father's neck and then about Abdallah's, for they loved Abdallah almost as much as if he were one of the family. He had been their playfellow always. He was so kind and gentle, and he understood every word they said. They knew very well that all Arab horses are fine, the finest in the world, but they were equally sure that the finest of all Arab horses was Abdallah. As Hassan turned and rode away, the children ran after him to the center of the camp. There a number of men on horseback had gathered together, each in a long white gown, with a kerchief bound about his head, and a striped mantle floating behind him. In their hands they all carried tall, slender spears. As soon as Hassan arrived, the party made off. Then Ali and Fatima ran on still farther to the very edge of the little green oasis where their band was encamped, and they stood looking off across the sands, watching the party as it slowly disappeared in the distance. "Take care of our father, Abdallah," they called. "Bring him back to us safe." And then they went back to their mother. Hassan and his friends flew on across the desert. Miles and miles of yellow sand the strong, swift horses put behind them. But just as the sun was sinking low in the western sky, a band of the dreaded Turks came suddenly swarming about them. Down into position went the spears of the Arabs. The enemy rushed upon them. Nobly the Arabs defended themselves, and fierce was the struggle, but the Turks were far greater in numbers. They soon overwhelmed the Arabs and took them all prisoners. Hands and feet they bound them with tough leather straps, and they tied their horses with ropes. "Tomorrow we will carry these men off to the slave market and sell them," they said, as they squatted about on the sand and ate their evening meal. "The horses too will bring us a wonderful price. It is not so often one finds for sale a real Arabian horse." During the night, while the Turks slept, Hassan lay awake, looking up at the quiet stars, and thinking of Zuleika, Ali, and little Fatima. "Shall I never see them again? Shall I never again go home?" he murmured, and his heart was too full for words. "Shall I spend all my days far, far away, at the hardest labor for some cruel Turk?" Just then he heard a gentle neighing. "That is Abdallah calling me," he said, and he managed to pull himself, bound hand and foot though he was, across to the spot where Abdallah was tied. Abdallah put down his nose and sorrowfully rubbed his master's face. "I am sad for you," So sad," he seemed to say. "My poor horse," cried Hassan. "You shall not go off with these Turks. You at least shall not be their slave." With his teeth he began to gnaw the rope that bound Abdallah. At last he cut it quite in two. "There, now you are free, my beauty," he half sobbed. "Run, save yourself. Carry home my love to Zuleika and the little ones. Alas, I shall never see them again." But for once Abdallah did not obey. He did not dash away to save himself the moment he knew he was free. No, too often when they had been out together in the desert, far, far from home and far away from any well of water, had Hassan shared the half of his dates and the last of the precious water in his water skin with Abdallah. Abdallah would not leave him now, alone and in trouble. Instead, he stood where he was and still caressed his master with his nose. Suddenly he jerked his head decisively up and down as though to say, "That's it, that's what I will do." Firmly he caught Hassan by his belt. Quietly he dragged him between the rows of sleeping Turks. In a moment more they were out in the desert. "My good Abdallah, Abdallah, my beloved, you would not forsake me," cried Hassan. Over the soft sands the faithful horse gently dragged him. On, steadily on, all through the night, on and on. When the first faint glow of dawn began to shimmer over the desert, there before them rose the tall palms of the oasis and the tents of Hassan's tribe. Never once did Abdallah stop till he had laid his master before his own tent. Then he whinnied faintly for help and sank down on the grass. Zuleika heard him. "Abdallah!" she cried, and hastened out of the tent. "Hassan! Oh, Hassan!" "The Turks! We met the Turks!" murmured Hassan, as Zuleika helped him into the tent. "It was Abdallah who saved me." Ali and Fatima sat up and rubbed their eyes to see their father thus come home, and, while Zuleika made him comfortable on the rude mat that formed the floor of their tent, they rushed out to the aid of the noble horse. "Oh, Abdallah, Abdallah!" they cried as they stroked and petted him. "You brought our father home safe in spite of the Turks. We knew you would. Oh, Abdallah, our dearly beloved!" End of section 73. Recording by Maricel Cui.